Hey there, it's Liz from No Trace. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a super cute mini tote bag with boxed corners. Sometimes when I go out, I have a few things that don't quite fit in my pockets, like wallet, keys, and sunglasses, and this little tote bag is the perfect size for that. This is also the perfect size for a little one in your life if they want to bring their favorite toys along with them or maybe a snack. So let's go. This mini tote bag is another excellent scrap busting project, so hopefully you can dig through your scrap pile and find what you need. If you want to do the two-tone look for your bag, you need two pieces that are 6 inches tall and 10 inches wide in each of your fabrics. So I have two pieces for the top part of the bag, and I have two pieces of canvas for the bottom part of the bag. If you just want to use one solid piece of fabric for your outer layers, it needs to be 11 inches tall and 10 inches wide. And I also have two pieces of impossible to see lining fabric that's also 11 inches tall, 10 inches wide. All of the measurements are in the description box below this video, so check that out if you want to write all these numbers down. I'm also using two 12-inch long straps that I made. I'm linking to my tutorial on how to make your own straps in the description box below this video, but you could also use cotton webbing, so 12 inches of cotton webbing, and you could even use sturdy ribbon if you want for the straps. These straps are about 3/4 of an inch wide, and again, they're 12 inches long. And of course, I'm gonna put a little no trace tag on the side of my bag because that's what I do. And if you wanna get some of your own personalized tags, I am linking to where I get these in the description box. The first step for this cute mini tote bag is to sew the two parts of the outer panels to one another. Now, if you're just using one solid piece of fabric for your outside panel, you can totally skip this step, save yourself a couple of seams. But if you want to use a little canvas, contrasting canvas bottom, all you have to do is put the right sides together, and then I'm going to take this over to the machine and sew them with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now, I'm not using pins, I'm just going for it here, but if you wanted to pin your two pieces of fabric together, you could absolutely do that. And I am going to make sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end of this row of stitches. I sewed together the two pieces that are going to make one outside panel of my bag and the second two pieces that are going to make the other outside panel of my bag. And I also pressed the seam at the back so that it lays nice and flat. So we are ready for the next step. The next step is to place the two outside panels with the right sides together and line up the side seams, or not the side seams, the middle seams with each other. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a pin on each side. Now I'm just going to sew the bottom edges together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll be right back. Now that my bottom edges are joined with the 1/2 inch seam allowance, I'm going to get my no trace tag. I've folded it in half. I'm going to put my tag in between my layers, my outer layers. It's about 3 inches or so from the top edge, but obviously if you have a tag, you can put it wherever you want. This is just my habit. And then what I'm going to do next is actually fold up this bottom edge 2 inches. So I have my ruler here, and I want to fold it 2 inches up. It doesn't matter which side of the bag I'm folding up on, if I'm folding up this way or on the other way. I just want 2 inches straight across, and this is going to give the bag some depth and boxed type corners without having to cut the corners and throw away fabric or add to your scrap pile. And now I'm just going to sew along that side, both sides, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I want to make sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end of my stitches. Before I forget, I do have a PDF pattern of this tote and 2 of my other most popular mini totes. It's linked in the description box below this video, so go ahead and snag that PDF pattern if you want a copy of all of these instructions at your fingertips. Now that my side seams are sewn, I'm going to go through these same steps with my liner fabric, so I'll be right back. This bag is coming together really fast. I hope you're having the same experience as me. All right, now that the inner layers are joined just like the outer layers, what we want to do is go inside the outer layers and open up this corner and kind of flip that fabric around so that we have a triangle shape down at each corner. All right, your corners should look like this, and they don't have to be perfect because when we go to finish the bag, you'll have a moment to just kind of straighten it out with your hands and make it line up nicely. Now we're going to get our liner fabric and turn it right side out. And once you have it right side out, you are going to just kind of gently push on these bottom corners, and you'll see how it creates that depth and opens up the bag down here. Then we're going to take our liner fabric and put it inside the outer fabric and line up the layers at the side seams. And I always like to put a pin here on the sides where the seams line up. Once both of the side seams are pinned to each other, it's time for the straps. Now, like I said, you could use other material or check out my tutorial if you want to sew your own straps. I'm going to put the straps centered 3 inches from the side seam. So I'm going to place my ruler on the side seam and find 3 inches over. And I'm folding my strap so that it's pointing down into the bag, and I'm putting it in between the layers. And then I am going to pin it centered at 3 inches. And I usually like to have about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of strap poking out of the bag so that I know I'm catching it in my seam when I sew around the top edge in the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and center the other side of the strap and flip the bag over and do the same thing with the second strap. So I'll be right back. Once the straps are pinned in place, I'm going to sew along this top edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to start right before one of my straps near, so just a few inches away from this side seam. And I want to make sure to sew over the strap and reinforce it with a few rows of stitches. So I'm going to sew over it and then back stitch. All right, I finished sewing over the last end of the strap, and I want to make sure to do a little back stitch and then stop my stitches so that I have an opening in the side of the bag that I can use to turn the whole bag right side out. All right, so the top seam should look like this. There is an opening here of 4 or 5 inches so that I can turn the whole bag right side out. All right, one of my favorite parts. I'm going to reach inside and gently pull the bag right side out. It's the grand reveal. And we're almost done. It's almost done, and it is pretty dang cute. What I'm going to do next is roll out this top edge just between my fingers to try to get it as flat as possible. And then I'm actually going to iron all along this edge, especially where there's the opening. And then I'm going to do a top stitch. At the machine, I'm going to put this top edge under my presser foot, and I like to sew from the inside out. And I like to start over at the side because then the stitches will be a little bit less noticeable. And I'm just going to go all the way around with about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I think this tote bag turned out pretty dang cute, and I'm pretty sure that my girls are gonna wanna borrow it from me whenever they can. Remember that I have the full PDF sewing pattern for this tote and a couple other of my most popular mini tote bags linked in the description box below this video, so check it out.